Ladies and gentlemen, today's video is a little bit different. I'm gonna do a Ford Focus RS buyer's guide. I'm gonna talk about all sorts of things about the Focus RS, specs, problems, the good, the bad, maybe some different cars that you should also consider instead of the Focus RS. All that sort of stuff. So don't waste any more time. Let's just get straight into the video. But before we get into the video, I want to tell you guys about my own clothing brand, TRAPAGAS. TRAPAGAS is an automotive clothing brand made by a car enthusiast, me, for car enthusiasts like you. We got different designs in different colors, all in the automotive style. All our pieces are available in different sizes. We got M, S, L, XL and even XXL. You also don't have to worry about the shipping. We're shipping worldwide with a fast delivery service and also to space if you ask us nicely. If you're interested in my clothing brand or you just want to help out the channel, go to www.trapagas.com, use the code R19Robbin on your checkout for a little discount and I'll see you there. Let's start off with the reason why I actually bought this car. I bought this car because this has been my dream car since the car came out in 2016. I was still at school and I was watching YouTube quite a lot of car videos. And when this car came out, all the hooligan stuff with Ken Block and stuff like that, all those YouTube videos with this thing drifting in the snow, in the sand, all that stuff got me, it got me some love for the car and it never went away. I always got interested in this car, and later when I got a little bit older, I dived a little bit deeper into the specs of the car. It always got my attention. It's kind of crazy that I've been dreaming about this car since 2016 and now it's sitting on my driveway. Well, let's get into the specs of the car. One of the reasons I actually love this car. So this car is from 2016. It has a 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine that produces 350 horsepower. At least that is what Ford says. The dyno results always says that it's a little bit lower, around 320 horsepower. So Ford is kind of lying to you and to me as well. It's a four-wheel drive system. That means that you got all the grip when launching this car. You got pretty much no wheel spin at all, unless you put it on drift mode. And then 70% of the power goes to the rear and 30% of the power goes to the front. It is actually the first production car that had this modification. It's kind of crazy because nowadays all the hot hatches have the same drift motors, like the Golf R has it, the A45S AMG, the Audi RS3. They all got the same drift mode. It's kind of crazy that this car already had it in 2016. Right, another reason why I bought this car is of course the exterior design, cause it's basically art on wheels. I have to say that my Focus RS is fully loaded with all sorts of options. One of the things that stands out the most gotta be this color. It's called nitrous blue. It's basically blue with a sort of gold yellow flake in there. And when the sun shines on it, it is beautiful. It is also the color that you see the most on the Focus RS. This is the base color, I would say. It's also the most beautiful in my opinion. You got white, black and sort of nardo gray and a darker tint of gray. I gotta say, black is definitely one of the most rare colors you see on the Focus RS. But in my opinion, the blue color looks the best on this car. This car also comes with 19-inch lightweight wheels. You also got a little bit heavier weight with some more spokes into it. These wheels are painted matte black. This is also a factory option, not standard. You can't get those wheels in every country. That makes the wheels a little bit more rare as well. Yeah, for the rest, they're a little bit more lightweight compared to the other ones. Those other ones have more spokes into them, a little bit heavier, at least that is what people told me. And these wheels are basically the best looking wheels that you can spec on this car. Those wheels are quite expensive second hand as well. I saw a set for sale for like 2,000 euros here in the Netherlands where I live. It's kind of crazy. You definitely don't want to damage those. It also has a crazy aero package. Well, it's not a package. It's from factory. It's standard on the Focus RS. The wing looks amazing on this car. The front bumper, that's the best looking part about this car. It's, yeah, the front is just the best, man. And I gotta say, the booty, the rear, the back of this car is great looking as well. Overall, the exterior design of this car is amazing. I don't think there is a better looking hot hatch from factory than this car. In combination with the color and painted matte black details, because there's nothing been wrapped on this car. Everything has been painted matte black. In combination with that, it looks amazing. A few parts of the interior are also the reason why I bought this exact car. Like I said, this car is fully loaded with all the options that you can get on this car. For example, one of the things that I love the most about this car are the Recaro bucket seats. Ford and Recaro have worked together to create a special one-off seat for the Focus RS. All around the interior you see blue stitching, and even in the bucket seat you see a blue Recaro logo with the Focus RS logo also in blue. And then together with all the leather and Alcantara, I gotta say the seats look beautiful on this car. There are actually a lot of people that are complaining about the cheap interior of the Focus RS and that it's kind of basic and kind of ugly. I would not say that the interior is ugly. I actually kind of like it. But there are some people right about the cheap material, about the cheap plastic material on the dash and stuff like that. It kind of looks like a base Ford Focus, I would say, from the interior if you look at some parts. But the seats, you can only get those in the Ford Focus RS together with the blue stitching and everything. So I think that is kind of special. And I also got a sunroof. I can tilt it or open it fully. It's actually quite a nice feature, and it's actually quite a rare feature on this car for some reason. There are not a lot of Focus RSs with a sunroof, and there are especially not a lot of Focus RSs that have a sunroof in combination with these bucket seats. For the rest, the steering wheel is quite basic, I would say. They just did some blue stitching as well in combination with an RS logo on the bottom. It's a flat bottom steering wheel. That's something I quite like, but yeah, it's nothing really special really. Also, the infotainment system is quite basic that you have in a normal Focus. Nothing really special as well. For the rest, the driving position, I gotta say the bucket seats are quite high. I'm 1.95 m. I don't know how many inches or foot that is, but I'm quite a big guy. And the bucket seats are sitting way too high for my position. And that is something I don't like about the car. I know you got some lowering kits for the seats, but those are like 400 bucks. If you're quite a big person, you gotta know that you gotta at least spend like 400 bucks extra in order to get your seating position a little bit better than stock. Let's talk about the performance and tuning potential for this car, because there are some good and bad things about this engine. So it's a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine from Ford. I don't understand why they named it EcoBoost, because there's nothing EcoBoost about it. There is some boost, but there's nothing eco about it, because this thing drinks like a V8. I don't know the exact fuel numbers on how long it can drive on one full tank of gas, but let's just say it's not a lot. It's not a lot. But who is buying a performance car anyways if you care about fuel consumption and stuff like that? So this EcoBoost engine also comes in a lot of different other Ford cars. One example is the 4-cylinder Mustang. It's the same engine as that. This car only comes with a manual transmission. There's no automatic option. If you have an automatic Ford Focus RS, it's probably fake. I actually heard a lot of horror stories from other RS owners as well. Especially if you tune it or boost it a little bit more than stock. If you keep it stock, it should be alright. Even if you're gonna send it in every corner of the street, it should be alright. Just know if you buy this car second hand, they're probably all beaten up. But if you're gonna tune the engine, you're probably gonna blow up the engine as well. The safe horsepower numbers are around 380 horsepower. That should be safe. If you go over 400 horsepower or be around 400 horsepower, I heard a lot of people that blew up their engine if you go around that horsepower margin. The quality of the engine in combination with the gearbox is not the best, I would say. It's not the best that you can buy on the market. It's not unsafe, I would say, for stock. But if you're gonna tune it, just know you're probably gonna blow some shit up. It's actually quite alright. It's not that bad. I just heard some horror stories about the engine. That's all I know. I don't own the car for too many months, so I don't have too many problems with it. The only problem that I had with it are the driving modes. That is some electrical sensor issue. It has to do with the sensor issue in the exhaust valve. It's a common problem. Ford also knows that problem. It's not free to fix it, but you can fix it at a Ford garage. Or just get a whole new exhaust, I would say. The manual gearbox is actually pretty good. It's a 6-speed. It's quite heavy, I would say, in first gear. It's not really nice for daily driving and sitting at a traffic jam or a red light. Then I would prefer an automatic. This is fun for the country roads. You're gonna get annoyed to it if you're gonna daily drive this thing. For the rest, the engine doesn't look really special or anything. The intake looks quite nice. It got a Ford Performance logo on there as well. It's nothing really special in the engine bay really. You might ask yourself, is it easy to get some extra power out of this engine? The answer to that is yes, but it's gonna cost you a lot of fucking money. Like I said, the safe margin on this car is a stage 1 tune with around 280 horsepower. So you need an exhaust and an intake for that with it in combination with a tune. I wouldn't go 400 horsepower or over that. I've heard a lot of stories that people are already on their 3rd engine. Yeah, you don't want to blow up this engine, and if you go around 400 horsepower, you're probably gonna blow up the engine. An engine is costing you around 7,000 euros, and yeah, it's just a lot of money, man. If you do want to get some extra power out of this engine, just know the first thing you gotta upgrade is the clutch. The clutch is actually a pretty weak point about this car, and that is also the first thing that you want to upgrade if you want to get some more power. And together with all the other modifications that you gotta do, like an exhaust, intake, fuel mods, like some oil catch cans, it's probably gonna cost you 7,000 euros in total, or dollars in total. That's quite a lot of money for some extra 80 horsepower in my opinion. For a stock car, it is already performing quite nice. Like I said, that 4-wheel drive system with drift mode, where 70% of the power goes to the rear and 30 in the front, so you can actually drift this thing like Ken Block did. The brakes are phenomenal. The springs on this thing are insane. In track mode, this thing performs so well, especially with some traction off. It really wants to go sideways sometimes. It performs amazing with the stock coilovers. It is quite rough for daily driving, but if you want to take this car to the track, you don't really have to change the coilovers on this thing. Stock performance, it's already quite an amazing car. And for a stock car, it actually sounds quite nice as well. That factory exhaust sounds quite nice. It has some factory pops and bangs, which is quite nice if you're a young person like me. If you're older, I don't know if you like it or not, maybe not, but yeah, for a stock car, it sounds amazing as well. Now I told you everything about the Focus RS, all the basic specs, all the basic problems that people have. I own this car for like 6 months, almost 6 months already. It's not that long, but it's long enough to experience the full car on its full potential. I didn't have any engine problems or whatsoever. I do have the 2016 model, and the 2016 model is a little bit outdated to compare to the 2017 and more. What I do have are some sensor issues. When the car turns a little bit hot, the driving modes wouldn't always work. Apparently it's a sensor issue in the exhaust or a sensor issue with the whole system of the car. I haven't really figured out what it is, but I do think it's a sensor issue in the exhaust. It's the valve system of the exhaust that doesn't always want to open the exhaust valves. Apparently that is the reason, if the valve gets a little bit too hot, that the sensor will overheat as well, and that the whole driving system or the whole driving modes won't work anymore. I also have some small problems with the infotainment systems. I got a small radio and Bluetooth connection error with that as well. It's probably a quick fix by updating the system. I still got the old sync system because I got the 2016 model. Apparently you don't have those issues with the 2017 model. Also with the exhaust valve sensor issues, you don't have those with the 2017 models and over that. Apparently when you got the 2016 model, you got a little bit more sensor issues than you got with the 2017 models and the 2000 models after that. But it's basically a small fix by updating the system. Spend a few $100 on there and it should all be good. Overall, do I regret buying this car? Absolutely not. It's been a blast to drive. Only for the daily driving part it has been quite annoying. So are there any better alternatives on the Focus RS? It kind of depends on what you want and where you're using the car for. Are you using the car for daily driving? I would definitely not recommend buying a Ford Focus RS. Do you want to have fun? Do you want to have a fun practical weekend car? Then absolutely buy the Ford Focus RS, because in my opinion this is still the best driving hot hatch you can buy for the money. I know there are some other cars as well that you can buy for the money. For example, a Golf R or a Golf GTI. I must say I've driven a lot of Golf Rs and GTIs. I currently still own a Golf GTI, but I gotta say, this is the better car to have some fun with. I gotta say, a Golf R or a GTI is a way better daily driver. You also get way more car for the money, in my opinion. They're also a little bit cheaper than the Ford Focus RS. The GTI and the R are a little bit more luxurious as well, a little bit more comfortable. Also, the tuning potential is way better. You get way more power for less money than you do got with the Focus RS. And one more thing, the Golfs are also way more reliable. But if you want to have a track focused hot hatch, definitely buy a Ford Focus RS. Also, the manual gearbox on the Ford Focus RS is way better than a manual Golf as well. One other car you can buy for the money is a Ford Focus RS MK2. That was the previous generation of Ford Focus RS before this one. I do have to say, it is a better sounding car, but it is not a better driving car than this. I haven't driven that car, to be honest, but from the comparison, what I'm hearing from the cars from friends and other people around the internet, I do think the third generation Ford Focus RS is the better car for the money. That 5-cylinder is just an unbeatable sound with that 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine. But so far, my conclusion, this is the best Focus RS you can buy today. I'm telling you guys that a lot. Overall, I don't think there is a better car for the money than this. I really did my research before buying this car with other cars as well, and I really do think that this is the best car that the money can buy, or at least the budget that the Ford Focus RS is. So if you're really interested in one of those, just do your research and you'll probably find a nice example. Overall, my conclusion is that I don't have any regrets of buying this car. It's been performing phenomenal and it's been a blast on those back roads. So what I do think is that I talked enough in this review. I'm not a professional reviewer or anything. I'm just doing this for fun, really. Just sharing my opinion. If you think I missed anything in this video, feel free to comment. But for now, I'm done talking, man.